and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you and welcome to this symposium today. My name is Xinwen Li, and I joined ProBio in last year, and currently serve as the SME for CGT, our CGT service line. Today, I will talk about the IIT and IND pathways for cell and gene therapy in China, and as well as what can we ProBio can offer in CMC perspective. Today, the presentation will cover 4 parts. First, I would like to introduce the IIT framework in China. Still, today's topic will focus on the IIT, but please note that the most common pathway for CGT product to hit the market is still through the conventional investigational new drug pathway. So clinical trials sponsored by the industry companies like pharmaceutical, biotechs, or medical device company. After the clinical trials, you apply the new drug approval to the regulatory agency like FDA, EMA, MFDS in Korea, or NMPA in China to hit the market. But in the meantime, we also have another approach for those clinical trials, which we call the Investigator Initiated Trial, which was conducted in the medical institutions oftenly. And those clinical trial is more focused on the academic research or clinical explorations. In China, this kind of IIT was regulated by the National Health Commission. This is the Ministry of Health in China's central government. And so we can see recently the IIT in China draws significantly attention from worldwide, and especially for those emerging technology, for example, like the in vivo CAR-T. So you see, once the in vivo CAR-T was the concept bring up to in, in 28, it grows rapidly. So in last year alone, we can see almost 10 newly announced pipelines. And it's not just another form of the CAR-T. It's definitely not an old wine in a new bottle. It's definitely the future. At least a lot of the multinational big pharmas think of it and invest heavily. We can see here recently, the acquisition or collaboration was occurred in here, and the deal size reaches the billion level. And although the lot of the IIT cases are still in the preclinical phases, but we can see 46 pipelines are already reached the IIT or clinical level. And we see this distribution by the region. We can see almost 3/4 of them are conducted in China. Definitely, some of them are using this IIT system. Although we couldn't expect a commercial in vivo CAR-T product in tomorrow, but still, it would happen in near future. And fully, of course, fully utilized the advantage of the IIT. Although the IIT is quite prospective in China, but underneath it, still some legally or safety concerns. And the central government in China recognized this kind of risk. So they announced a regulation creed last year. It's called it's the State Council Decree number 818, and the title is Regulation on Administration of Clinical Research and the Clinical Translational Application of New Biomedical Technology. It's much shorter in Chinese. And also in here, they defined 5 categories of new biomedical technologies. And in between them is 2 is cell therapy and gene therapy. Other 3 includes brain-computer interface and the tissue or plant tissue or organ therapy and the microbial therapies. And today we will focus on the CGT part. And also make it clear that the regulation is regulated by the National Health Commission, and only those kind of clinical translation can conduct in a qualified hospitals. That means this. Sorry. This class A tertiary hospitals, although it gives a parallel commercialization pathway that without this NMPA registration, but still for foreign sponsors, the most feasible way to achieve the drug commercialization is still IND. And with this IIT study, you can still reach the gain early safety and efficacy data or even first in human result. And please note those IIT study results can supplement the IND filing, but it's not replaceable and definitely not a substitute of IND. And in the meantime, you also have to comply with all the requirements of the Decree 818 and the relevant guidelines. And here's the list of the main difference between China IIT and the global IND. So the purpose is IIT is only for the research-wise, and the IND is for the commercialization. And the person in charge is in IND is the sponsor, take the final call. But for the IIT, as the name revealed, the investigator, the PI, is the most important people to move forward. And the most important difference is the implementation process and the document requirement. So for IND, you know, you have to conduct all the study and form the dossier under the guideline of the ICH and the common technical document, module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have to bring up to the FDA and then reviewed by them and only can conduct a clinical trial after the approval. But in the IIT, it's different. There's no, the review was conducted in individual medical institution. That means hospital. In hospital, the relative scientific committee or the ethics committee will review your plan. After they gave your clearance, you will file to the National Health Commission or register to the NHC, then you may proceed. Because those kind of review was conducted by the individual institutions, so there's no hard to determine a clear timeline for the review. So it was writing here estimated from 2 months to 6 months, and in each institution, the document requirement may differ. So, and this is the main difference. So, please note, the regulatory authority are different between them. In IIT in China is National Health Commission, and for IND it's the National Administration, National Medical Product Administration. Those two departments are not relative. So you may ask, so because if even you do the IIT for final commercialization, you still need through IND. What we can benefit from the IIT? So here's we summarize for those kind of beneficial. First, we believe is flexibility, because those IIT was conducted by the investigator fully. The investigator will design the full trial, will give you the flexibility, and even can start with a very small group of patients, like 3 or 4 patients. And the institution is a hospital, have a directly front line with the patient pool. You can enlarge your patient pool gradually from there. And another significant characterization is the fast. So in our experience, maybe from the project initiation, after 6 or 8 months, you can reach the first patient injection. In conventional IND, maybe with this timeline, you even couldn't finish the non-clinical animal study, maybe. And because it was, it's not like IND, you have to submit a very comprehensive plan, then only can proceed after the approval. Those kind of reviewing process is quite flexible in here. And in the IIT, there's no requirement you have to conduct a full process or quality study. So in here, we can have an expedited manufacturing timeline and a fast analytical assay. So it definitely reduces your cost and saves time. And last one is the financially. So because, and even in this IIT, typically the non-clinical study is not, the GLP non-clinical study is not mandatory in the IIT. So you can save a lot of time and cost in there. So we can expect maybe 30 to 50% of cost reduction per patient for the IIT. So we believe the true value of those IIT is the fast-tracking drug development. So you can have the opportunity for the first-in-human data in very early stage. So it may help you to access your potential of your clinical pipeline very early. And then even if this kind of data can feed back to the drug development for your maybe IND services. So you can know your potential of your CGT pipeline in very early stage to make decision, shall we go further or stop in there? And it also can benefit from financial wise. So it also help your investors to value to establish the value model of your pipeline. So it would be good for your financially, and also boosting those kind of license in-out decision with the potential collaborator. Here is there's a big barrier in front of the foreign sponsors to access this IIT in China. I think we listed the major challenge in here. Like first is, as the name revealed, the investigator is the key person. But to foreign sponsors, it's very hard to get access to those reliable clinical centers and the relative, the PI. And also, because all those kind of reviewing is conducted by individual clinical centers. So there's no universal standard document formality in China. So this kind of ambiguity also hardened the difficulty. And because the requirement is quite different in every center, so you don't know or you don't have a master key to perform those IIT tailored CMC solution. ProBio, we spotted or recognized this kind of challenge and form a strategic partnership, which in this partnership, ProBio can handle the CMC and the non-clinical part, and our partner will handle the clinical part. Get together, we think we can provide our client an integrated one-stop solution for IIT execution. And this is a typical IIT timeline for CGT product. Those kind of ProBio will handle the first two, the CMC part and the non-clinical part, and parallelly, our IIT CRO partners will handle the other clinical related parts like PI engaging or clinical center engaging, and we will perform a tailored IIT service, IIT CMC service, so we can clearly see the timeline is quite short, like in 4 or 6 months, depends on the modality, and faster following that is like 3 months or 5 months of the pharmacology study. With this kind of data formed together and with the study plan, we will brought it to clinical centers scientific committee and ethics committee for the review. After the reviewing, our CRO partners can help to NHC filing, and if the Chinese citizens' genetic resource was utilized, they also will help to get the approval from the HEG, Human Genetic Resource Administration of China. And from this kind of mode, we can expect first patient injection in maybe 6 to 8 months. And the second part is what can we, when we ProBio can offer for the CMC. So here includes 3 cases. First is for RVV for in vivo application, like Dr. Lee introduced. So actually the packaging of the lentiviral vector, targeted lentiviral vectors are not very different from the conventional RVV. Still, we utilize the third generation packaging system, but because we have another additional element like binder, so there's more plasmids that was involved. And for those plasmids, we will go a fast track. So just after the transformation, we will make the research cell bank. And because we are very experienced in the plasmid platform, we are confident on our robust plasmid platform. We will just do the process and just go through the manufacturing. And for the LVV packaging, the cell bank is ready to use. And instead, like we do in conventional IND system, do the process development, we may only perform the feasibility testing by packaging test, and then just apply our platform process to see if we can get the lentiviral vector good enough for clinical trial. Then we also, for the analytical, we will develop the analytical method and then also perform the qualification, then do the manufacturing. Please note, even in IIT, the final product, the drug product that you injected to the patient should, the process should, the manufacturing should under the GMP condition. And here is a typical timeline. So for plasmid part, we can do the quick manufacturing like in even less than 2 months, like 1 point, and then we will perform a packaging test or demo run. If a process developer needed from there, we will also add that and perform the method development and qualification in 2 months. So we are expecting to get the clinical trial sample in maybe in the 6 months. And another approach is the targeted LNP. So for this part, the elements would be increased. So you have a plasmid DNA template, and after IVT, you got the mRNA, and then you have to encapsulate it into LNP. And also, for the targeting part, you have a binder to conjugate it to the LNP. So it would be a little complicated. And thankfully, we ProBio can not only provide CMC services for the CGT product, we also have a very strong platform for the biologics. So we can also produce the antibody for you. So for the antibody, we wouldn't use the monoclonal cell lines. Just from the cell pools, we can get the sample and do the manufacturing, and wouldn't go through the strict QC release just in editing. And also the plasmid, because the template contains the mRNA poly-A, the integrity of the poly-A is quite impact the mRNA quality. So we will perform to the primary cell bank to ensure the passage stability. And for the LNP, for mRNA, it's quite matured, so it would go just through the platform process. For the conjugation, the encapsulation and the conjugation, it will require some technical transfer or process development. Thankfully, with our Kevin's team, we can execute it well. And still the grade would be under the GMP condition. So here is the process. So for the plasmid part, we have conventional circular plus linearization, or we can provide you the ProPlus, just one-stop linearization service. Here is the timeline. So the timeline for plasmid will be a little longer than others because you need to perform to the PCB, and other development would be initiated sequentially, and then we can get the LMP in also still in the 6 months. It's the AAV. The AAV part is quite similar with the viral vector, lentiviral vector for plasmid from research cell bank, and just perform the manufacturing, and then for the packaging cell line we have a ready-to-use one, and the process was applied to our platform process. So the 5.5 months is just a showcase. The real statics will be differ, give or take, but still we expect the delivery of our samples in a range of 4 to 6 months. And there's the CMC part. For the IIT, there's still 2 clinical parts: is non-clinical study and clinical study. For the non-clinical study, ProBio also have a very indicated pharmacology team. And thankfully for the IIT, the non-clinical study not mandatory require the GRP. So our pharmacology team can provide our client the PD, pharmaceutical dynamic, and kinetics and the toxicology study. Here's for the efficacy, we can do the in vitro and the in vivo PD study. And at the first, we will establish the biological analytical method, then do those. We also can do this kind of distribution and the toxic study with those HSC reconstructed tumor-bearing mice. And for TLMP, we can also do, because there's no less immunogenicity, so we can also perform the repeat dose toxic study. And for AAV, we also have established this kind of ADA method or specific T-cell detection method, and no AAV neutralizing antibodies. So there's the list of the major difference between for the pharmacology study. For the IND, you have to make a very comprehensive non-clinical study plan, because it's required by the regulatory, and already predefined and standardized, and also need to comply the GRP. But in IIT, the purpose of this non-clinical study is to serve your IIT service only, or just so it was driven by PI, and also flexible and adjustable based on the PI's needs. And thanks for that, ProBio, we can also provide both the CMC part and the non-clinical part. So with the because it was conducted in the one entity, the internal communication would go through very smoothly, so it can be adjusted, maybe in CMC part or in the non-clinical part, to give you a better or less time-consuming solution for that. And of course, there's another major part is the clinical trial. So clinical trial, that part we ProBio can't survive, but still it's very important part. Only a successful IIT can be executed only in a successful collaboration with the sponsor biotech and the PI principal investigator, and the CDMO to handle the CMC parts, and also CRO to handle the clinical part, like PI engagement and submission and the study plan and those regulatory filings. We want to deliver this kind of integrated solution. So we formed a strategic partnership with CRO companies. Here's the confidence was based on the extensive experience. We can provide a seamless transition from CAA China IIT to global IND to our client. And that would be all the introduction. And I hope through today's introduction, you can have a more comprehensive understanding of the IIT system in China. And of course, we hopefully can collaborate with our clients to bring better CGT product to the world. Thank you.